Hi, I'm Pastor Kurt, and this is your 5-minute Bible study. Today, we're going to look at Acts 27, verses 13 through 44. Now, we're getting really close to the end of the book of Acts here. But before we find out what happens after this scene, we need to remember where we've been. In the previous video, I talked about how Paul has appealed his case to the emperor. And so now he's being sent to Rome. And on his way to Rome, he and his fellow sailors who are on this ship, they head through this storm. But they could have avoided the storm. Paul tells the people who are traveling with him, it's like, we really should sail this direction. And they don't listen to him. They end up sailing this other way because, they're the sailors. They know how to navigate the seas. Who's Paul to tell them which way to go? Well, they go the way they think is best, and they end up hitting the storm. Paul, very politely, basically tells them, I told you so, right? You should have listened to me, then we could have avoided this whole mess. Everybody else on the ship starts to get frightened and scared. They think they're going to die out here. They think that this storm is just going to take them down. Paul is the one who ends up comforting them. At one point, the text says that these other sailors who are with him, they haven't eaten for 2 weeks. They are so scared and terrified that they haven't eaten. Think, for example, if you have ever been so down or depressed that you just don't feel like eating, or somebody like that. You kind of have to remind them. It's like, have you had something to eat today? Have you taken a shower today? Have you brushed your teeth today? You kind of need to remind them to do these basic everyday things because they're so caught up in their emotions that they sort of ignore these everyday things like eating. Or maybe someone has had to remind you about that. Like they check on you and they're like, when was the last time you had something to eat? And you can't remember when you last had something to eat. These other guys on this ship are so terrified and so depressed because of the storm that they haven't eaten for 2 weeks. Paul tells them, you guys really should have something to eat. And then Paul finds some food and he starts eating. He shows them, it's like, it's okay to have some food. Well, when they see Paul starting to eat, they're like, okay, maybe it's okay for us to eat too. And so they all start to eat. Well, it's not done yet. They get their way through the storm, but then as they approach land, the ship wrecks on the land. Basically, the front part of the boat rams into the land and gets stuck. And then the back part of the boat is being beaten up by the seas. So they can't sail their ship anymore. They are stuck. Some of the soldiers want to kill everybody on board, but the centurion on board prevents them. It's like, no, let's not do that. Don't be hasty. Don't make stupid decisions. Let's let everybody get off, and he keeps them alive, which is great. Think about what's going on in this scene, though. We have all of these people who are panicking, thinking they're going to die, and Paul is the one who helps them. Now remember, they are supposed to be there to help Paul. They're supposed to be escorting him as he makes his way to the emperor. They should be the support system for him, not the other way around. But Paul clearly is trusting Jesus. Think about people who, no matter what kind of storm they're facing in life, they still seem to be able to trust Jesus. And if you're in that same storm with them, they're the ones who end up comforting you. Which at the moment seems kind of weird because you might think that you're supposed to be the one helping them, but they end up being the ones who help you. This is what's going on here. These people who were supposed to be supporting and helping Paul are the ones freaking out, and Paul is the one who helps them. Sometimes that's how it works. Sometimes when you are so overwhelmed by something, when some storm is hitting you, then you seem to get help from surprising people. For example, maybe you as a parent are going through something, and then your kid does something to show you love and support. And then you think something like, wait a minute. You're supposed to be the one who's helping the kid, not the other way around. But when it happens, then that's a wonderful moment, isn't it? Think about if that's ever happened for you. If you've ever had your kid just come and comfort you, right? That is a wonderful example of your kid showing you Jesus' love. Yes, you're the parent. Yes, you take care of the kid. But sometimes your kid shows you that love. That is remarkable when it happens. And that's what we see happening here on this ship with Paul. There's your 5-minute Bible study. Please remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And I'll see you next time. Thanks.